What's going on, you guys? This is going to be a short video today just to talk about X-Wing 2.0 and storage and all of that. I've had a couple of people ask me about how I plan to do storage solutions, and so I've been doing a lot of work and I used to use two of these giant Plano boxes to store and transport all my X-Wing stuff, and right now I honestly think there's just too much now. These were totally full of X-Wing 1.0 stuff, and I could even barely kind of fit the epic ships in the top compartments of these, but I'm not doing that anymore because of the fact that we're getting, the Resistance and First Order are going to be flushed out a little bit more. And I'm still going to use some of these tackle box things. I'm using this one right now. I'm putting round tokens in there, or round good, round bad, and then square, shields, all the ionize and stress and stuff in there. A lot of these in here, my target locks and numbers in there, some of the unique effects in there. I'm still putting energy in here in case I do decide to, I don't know what the heck else I'm going to do with energy right now, because there's no replacement in for epic yet. And then dice in here, and then like all the maneuver templates and stuff like that. And I've got both damage decks in here because since 2.0 is not officially out yet, if I do play with anybody, we're going to be using the regular damage deck, and then I have the T65. So it's actually kind of cool to have a second damage deck. And this is just one of those Plano inserts. It's just a standard tackle box. But what am I doing about everything else, right? Because here is really the problem: is that my biggest complaint is this stuff right here. Is all the cardboard. I still have separate cardboard for everybody, and it just gives you so much cardboard. So I'm gonna show you guys what I came up with. First off, we're gonna look at, I just have all my dials in a bag right now. I will eventually figure out a better way to do those. I may put those in some of the another Plano little box or whatever. But I'm sorting them right now in plastic bags. I will probably put them in a different Plano container at one point, but I still have to kind of exile all my 1.0 stuff to the Hall of Shame. But I want to show you this bookshelf that is behind me in a lot of my videos. If you notice, I kind of went with this route with Armada of just leaving everything set up. It's getting a little crowded though, because I barely have enough room for all my Armada stuff. And I did this something very similar with Legion. I'm using these Magna racks, and I just keep all my Legion stuff just set up all the time. And I'm digging that. I like having all the Legion stuff set up. So what I decided to do is do the same thing with X-Wing. But it's harder to do with X-Wing because you can't be set up all the time. So what I did is I went ahead and I went through, and I didn't get everybody because I only got one conversion kit. I'm not going to get more than one. I refuse. Not because of a price thing, but because do I really need to have every possible list, like to have enough cardboard to run every possible permutation of everything? I mean, honestly, no. And I think, there's enough to run multiples of everything, but I don't necessarily need to run 4 Y-Wings. Plus, they'll probably come out with a Scum Y-Wing at some point anyway, and for review purposes, I'll want to buy that anyhow. So I don't have any more than 2 of some things, and some things I only managed to pick up 1 of anyway, like the Kimogilla, I only picked up 1 of, and the little space tug there, I only picked up 1 of those. And I may end up getting another Kimogilla so I can have the default paint job at one point, so at least when they do release a 2.0 version, I can do a better comparison video. But yeah, I have 2 or 3 of most of this stuff out here, and just set up, and I set them to be the most likely named pilots that I thought I would go with. And so if I do decide to run a list and I want, Boba Fett, okay, well Boba Fett's right there. I want Kath, well Kath is right there. If I want generics, I can just flip those over. So I may still have to go into the cardboard, but I think I have enough out right now where I've got my most likely targets for most of these. And the only one that I didn't actually put one on is I just have this underneath there. It doesn't actually fit in perfectly, but it's close. And then I have the epics off to the side, to the left. And so I did a different shelf for each faction. I've got Empire set up here. I only put 6 TIE fighters out. I don't see myself running like a full 7 tie swarm anytime soon. No, I mean, not with as much variety as that there is in 2.0 right now, and all the new named pilots and everything. I don't see myself doing that. And if I really need to, I can always pull an extra one out. Not really that big of a deal, but yeah, yes, we and the hard thing was actually making sure I had all the bases and the pegs for all of these, because you'd be surprised when you actually try to put everything on pegs at the same time. When you realize how many little bits of pegs like don't fit right anymore or have broken over the years. Like my Raider is actually barely hanging on there. I need to glue it, and then I found out my glue is missing, which means that one of the kids made off with my super glue, and I'm sure I will find out what happened to it at the worst possible time. So that's just lovely. And then we got the Rebels up top, and I'm kind of just digging the whole formation. I'm just digging having them all out there, or most of them all out there. Like I have a lot more U-wings than what's out here right now, but I just figure one of each paint scheme is going to be good enough. And I just have all the excess put away in other places. There's a lot of stuff I just have way too much of, like TIE Advanced or TIE Fighters, and I don't put any of the First Order stuff out here or the Resistance stuff. I will eventually go through and put those away. Or maybe I'll put those down on this other shelf down here that just has components once I finish sorting out where I'm going to keep all the rest of the cardboard. And ideally I want to like keep the cardboard in a way that makes it easy to sort and easy to find everything. And the idea of having everything ready to go too is I use these bins down here when I get ready to go play somewhere. And I'll show you. This is not the most elegant solution, but it's actually not a bad solution. And these spots here is I put a lot of Legion minis on here after I glued magnets to them, because there's magnetic paint on here. So if you want to magnetize the bottom of your stuff, like we'll take Han Solo here, when I put them down on there, there was a little bit of residual moisture from the super glue that left a little bit of circles on there. So if you're wondering why it looked like that, but anyway, it's a good way to just have a list ready to go. Whoops. There we go. It's a good way to have a list ready to go. And I don't know, but I'm pretty sure I could magnetize these too. And I may end up actually doing that. That'd be really cool to magnetize the bottom of my X-Wing bases. Let me know what you guys think about that. Do you know anybody who's magnetized their X-Wing bases? That would make them very, very easy to transport, but I wonder what kind of gameplay implications that would have. I don't think it would have many. I don't even think there's any problem with doing that. I don't know. Be kind of cool. It'd be real easy to transport them, especially if I ended up using like Magna Racks to transport a list. I'd like to explore that. So that would be a fun thing that I could do. But yeah, so this is great, and I can actually have I can have multiple lists in here too, especially if I'm bringing stuff for like maybe an epic game or 2 lists for somebody else to play me. And it's tall enough that I can put even the Hound's Tooth on 2 pegs in there, and plenty of room for the lid to go on. So I like these tubs. The tubs aren't flat though. I had cut some wood and put those in there. And originally this was for Armada, so I could transport with my Armada stuff and have it all in there. And it's just a fun, multi-game solution that I can put just about anything in. And, even if I'm playing some kind of card game, this is an empty box, but if I'm playing some card game, I can put some decks in there too, along with my list. So it's a good, I'm going out to the store today for a couple of games. That's kind of what I use to transport stuff. Now, let's talk about cards, because we have a whole different solution for cards. And this is like one of the coolest parts. So let me break away for a minute. We're going to transfer over. All right, so this Legion box is actually just the perfect size as a lot of the LCG boxes that Broken Token makes inserts for. And so I had this just like a generic Broken Token LCG insert, and it's like perfect for storing X-Wing cards right now. Now this isn't going to appeal to everybody, but I did kind of decide that I think this is going to be a little bit easier than just putting everything into pages. It's because they're all the same size now, so I can just use one insert for everything. And so right now I'm just using these. These were like basic little cards that came in the conversion kits. But I mean, you can use these. You can use any of the like the old reference cards or any of their throwaway cards just as dividers. And so I have them broken up into sections. I got like missiles right here. I've got torpedoes right there. Configurations, force powers, bombs, astromechs behind there, gunners, modifications. The biggest two I have in this section here, which is your crew and your EPT. And then I've got all the pilot cards. I've got Empire and Scum and then Rebels right here. There's extra room in here for when First Order and Resistance come out. They're probably not going to have as many. And then I've even got extra room over here, and it's totally customizable, so I can do, and as the game grows, and if it grows too big, if this ends up not being a good solution, I can always sleeve them and put them back into into pages and put them into a binder. Or I can get another one of these and have one that's just pilots and one that's just upgrades. But I really do like the ability, like when I'm done. One of the problems I was running into is, like, I would play one of these games and I would be like, when I was at the end of the day, when I was done, I wouldn't want to re-sleeve everything and put it all away. So I would just end up throwing them in a pile, and and then like a couple of games would go by and a couple of weeks would go by, and like, oh, I've had like the last 3 games of cards all in one pile, and I'd end up with like a pile this big. And this way I can just kind of put them back in the section they go in without having to worry about which individual spot was it supposed to go. I can just kind of drop them in. I can kind of file them in there, and then worst case scenario, I have to go through, oh, I got to find that bomb I was looking for. Well, which one is it? I only have to look through this much stuff for one bomb. I don't know. I think it's going to work for me. And I think because of the way that I'm doing it now, where I have all the ships and I just take out what I'm going to need, I don't have to bring this with me. And now I think if you want to bring your entire collection with you, then maybe you go with something like this. And and this is what I use for Armada and for even for Legion, as a matter of fact. Again, and the reason for that is that there's all different size pages, and I'm dropping stuff. But I've got the big tarot card pages for the Armada cards. Then I've got the regular, and then I've got the upgrades. So Armada's using 3 different sizes. Actually, it's going to be 4 different sizes of cards. But then the same thing for Legion. We've got the small pages for the Legion upgrades, then the big pages for all the other cards. So, if you need lots of different sizes stuff, maybe that's the way to go. But I really like just the way it is right now, with everything being the same size. It gives me a lot of flexibility. And Yoda likes it too. So if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and let me know what you think. Yoda's happy. Yeah, crazy Yoda. All right, guys, I want to thank you so much for watching. And as always, if you liked the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Click that bell for alerts. Check out Crabbok.com. You can chat on my Discord over there. There's a lot of stuff going on there. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day.